Your host, Starlet Henderson, here with this episode's thought leader, Tchernikovsky. Hi, Kira. How are you doing today?
I am doing well. Thank you, Scarlett.
Very good. Your website is customerization.com. Tell us what you do over there.
Yeah, it's .ca because we're in Canada,
That's right,
my company and
.ca.
myself. hmm But I hope I do have the global ambition. so,
Yes.
so well said. We are in what we call revenue enablement business, myself and my business partners. So we decided to combine marketing services with business applications slash
Mm-hmm.
CRM services. And this would be a great fit for small and medium business owners who just need to invest in marketing and then maximize that investment through processes and technology so that no dollars get lost and no leads get lost again. So we thought, like, how do we do that? Because I'm a marketing professional with 14 years of experience, and my business
Yeah.
partner has over 10 years experience with CRM. And we always had those conversations like, we don't talk the same language. And here you go, we combine that into revenue generating experience, and we see how that helps, especially small and medium business owners
Sure.
who just don't have the capacity to grab those services separately.
Or
That's
even
what we
the
do.
expertise, right? I mean, and they don't have the expertise to
Oh,
do it on their
expertise.
own.
Oh, yeah.
They've decided what
Yeah.
they want to do for a business, but they're not wanting to run the books or, running the outreach.
Oh, yeah. We see so many people who are trying to do something in marketing. Let's just throw some budget in Facebook and see what happens, and then
Yeah.
getting frustrated it doesn't happen because there is no strategic backbone
Right.
behind that. Or the same, oh, this CRM doesn't work and that CRM doesn't work, but it just hasn't been configured well. So no one went back and did the whiteboarding process and didn't connect that to the business and strategic objectives, not on the marketing side, not on the technology side,
Right.
but actually with some experience and cross-pollinating our knowledge from different customers
Hmm.
across each other, this is quite easy for us. And that's so helpful for business owners because they just can focus on what they do best.
Yeah.
And we just help them do so.
Got it. I'm seeing like a three-legged stool, the business, itself and the marketing and then the business management. And, you guys help round that out so people aren't falling over trying to pace themselves at the same time, but also trying to grow. It's ridiculous.
Yeah, absolutely. And I am part of marketing community worldwide, very strong marketing community, big community. And what we stand for there is that marketing is actually business strategy because in marketing you have to know the market, you have to know the trends, you have to align, to revenue goals.
Right.
And therefore, marketing probably can be more than just how we call that the shouts and just creative work, banners and stuff, but it should
Yeah.
be very strategic. And then when you go into the business applications and CRM, you can substantiate your marketing success with real data. Marketing doesn't end up at handover to sales and then it's like the black hole. No, not anymore.
So very data driven.
There is no choice these days,
Yeah.
just no choice.
I think that is exactly well said for sure. There is really no choice because if you're not doing it, someone else is, and they're running circles around you. Yeah.
Totally. And we are also looking at not micro budgets, I would say, but reasonable budgets. And in order to maximize your relatively low investment into marketing and technology, you have to know what you focus on. And that's where I guess the connection to your podcast is what's the philosophy, what's the thought leadership around our strategy? And that's actually trying to peel off all the unnecessary stuff and trying to focus on what really matters. And we consultants don't have the answers, but business owners do have that. So we come, we ask the right questions, and we don't skip the strategic planning.
Got it.
So that works.
Yeah, so you're having some deep conversations with the owners that you're working with to make sure that you're, following through on what their message is and bringing it home.
Yeah, absolutely. And then if you have a couple of stakeholders or even more, or stakeholders from different departments, you would be surprised how differently they see the business and then that reflects in technology, that reflects in marketing, and then you have to redo, you have to change. So that's waste of money, resources, people are getting nervous, the results are not there. And so it's good when a third-party consultant comes and we can just ask questions because we're not biased. And then it becomes that, focused effort that everybody's happy with.
Yeah, we find that, talking to different thought leaders, a lot of times that third perspective, right? That outsider view is so helpful because it's not emotionally bound up in what we've always done or what never works,
Yeah, totally. And what I found is that if you come from a digital business and you look at traditional businesses, suddenly you have ideas that you don't vocalize, but you ask, connected questions, and people go, aha, I don't have to do that as I was doing before.
Yeah.
So maybe my competitive advantage is actually becoming a bit more digital than my competition, a bit more advanced with my processes, a bit more automated. That's an interesting journey.
Yeah, pushing the envelope. And you mentioned too that word cross-pollination. I've heard several times.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. You're bringing an outside perspective with all of your years of experience to business owners that don't have that. So it sounds like that might be your secret sauce. Or what else would you say is your secret?
Positivity.
Yeah.
Like
okay.
my motto is have fun achieving your goals, because you can tell that there are so many situations when people come and advise to businesses what they need to do just based on best practices in the industry. That's great. That's awesome. That's what expected.
Starting point.
Consultant. Yeah, but I think the listening sometimes is not there, because in order to create a fit for purpose solution, again, in technology or in marketing or in sales and anything else, you first have to listen.
Yeah.
And only then suggest, by the way, a few options, because again, you are not in the shoes of that customer exactly.
Yeah.
So that positivity, that support is actually what drives people towards us, because they are not afraid to be vulnerable, to raise their problems, and we are there to help and to solve that together. So that's my secret sauce.
Yeah,
honestly.
that's nice that you've identified it. Some people are like, I don't know how, but that cheerleading aspect, that's so important. Yeah.
Yeah, I actually asked other people what they think is the secret sauce, and that's what everybody told me. And like, you know what? You're so right. I'll actually go and amplify that.
Yeah, nice. Positivity is always a win, I think. So let's talk about, maybe positivity is an answer to this question, but some difficult situations, maybe with clients or even just growing your own business. Like, how do you push through?
Well, that's a tough question, really. So I do a lot of homework, I would say. If I sense a conflict or lack of potential for decision making when a decision needs to be taken, I usually would go back, do my homework on the market, on their situation, and then maybe ask a couple of additional questions. The same questions I would ask different stakeholders. What do you think? What do you think? And if I sense disalignment, probably I would suggest to go on that call with a defined 3 questions agenda, including like, what are the dilemmas we need to solve? And usually that would resolve the situation, because if you leave it on low fire, that's no good. Not for a consultant, because then we provide, service which is less helpful, and not for the business owners, not for stakeholders, because they're not getting the resolution that they are paying for and they were hoping for.
Yeah. So it sounds like you go into real analytical problem solving. I know that, and it's data again, right? More qualitative.
Again, yeah.
Yeah. But you're really just digging and asking the right questions and digging. And, that works in personal lives too, right? Like, okay, this is what I think what's happening, but let me dig in, ask questions, do homework.
Absolutely. Yeah. It's like we want to grow 70% this year. But hey, is it realistic? Like, let's go back to your CRM or your Excel sheets and see where you stand now and where your growth is right now.
Mhm.
And let's align expectations, and not everybody does that because we all wish to be there. The
Right.
faster, the better, but it's not always possible. You can burn out.
Yeah, I can really see that strategy or the strategic piece coming out in you. And you're saying that, yeah, that's a good goal, but is it realistic? And to make sure that, everybody's aligned. So, how about thought leadership? We touched on it a little bit, but what does that mean to you?
That means to me actually promoting my philosophy, which is in the benefit of the customer. So again, that positivity and connectivity between people and customers, people and systems,
Mm-hmm.
and actually going through that together. And I haven't figured out the best way to build up that thought leadership, but I'm actively using LinkedIn on the one hand because that's a good professional platform to promote
It is.
professional content, which is helpful for my audience, potential customers, and marketers as well, because marketers do want to be more involved in the business,
Right.
do want to understand technologies more, and I can speak that language. And on the other hand, I find LinkedIn a very good platform for people to understand who I am as a person. Going back to that positivity, I think it's critical, it's important. And that's what I do. I also have my own podcast where I feature other people who do things differently and to the point. So I guess I just do what I like, what I enjoy. And at some point, it will turn into something more concise, I guess.
Yeah, with through practice, I'm sure, and experience, and time, right?
Because I think everything has changed over COVID.
Oh
Before
yeah.
that, there were events, like everybody wanted to go in events. But now, if you're on a Zoom event, not sure someone is listening really.
It
So,
is hard to tell sometimes for sure. And I loved what you talked about earlier too. Positivity didn't jump out for you to say, "Hey, this is my secret sauce," but you asked around those
mhm.
that you're, in working with and working for, and just really having an open-mindedness about you.
Yeah, and it's a lot about self-awareness, I
Hmm.
think, which comes with the time, with the age, with the experience.
Hmm.
And you understand that you don't know it all, and that's okay. And you need to identify what you are good at and whom this resonates with, because I can tell our clients are different from some other agencies' clients. And you can tell that our clients need that strategic piece, and they're at the stage where they understand they need a consultant or a supporter who thinks strategically,
Hmm.
and therefore our expectations align. But if there is a customer who needs just tactics and results or implementation right now, we can do that as well, but the interaction will be a bit different.
Right. Yeah. So you got your customers that are both aware and ready to just express, we don't know it all either. We need some help.
Absolutely, absolutely. And we learn on our own mistakes,
Hmm.
but that's what comes up.
Yeah. And then how about a book recommendation? The book that maybe impacted your life or something that you're constantly recommending to your customers.
Well, funny enough, I wasn't into reading professional books for a while,
Yeah.
but a year ago, I got interested in facilitation as a skill and as a profession. And now I understand it connects to my approach
Hmm.
to strategy. And I would actually give you a professional book recommendation. Again, funny enough, it's on my desk. Not because I prepared for that, but because I was briefing a proposal for someone. So this is by
Oh, no, turn it around.
oh,
You had it right the first time. So for
yeah.
those of you that are listening and not watching, Kira is holding up Sightline, strategic plans that gather momentum, not dust. I like that, Sightline. So
Yeah.
tell us a bit
And
more about it.
yeah, and this is by Rebecca Savins.
Hmm.
She is currently the chair of Canadian branch of International Association of Facilitators. So facilitation is actually a job. I didn't know that,
Yeah.
but it is. And there are tools and skills, and people are not just doing workshops, but doing that with strategic approach. And this specific book is about strategic planning. So it has tangible tools to do it by yourself within the organization or with the help of an external person, consultant, facilitator. And I was actually amazed how fast I could read the book and how fast I could apply not the whole strategy, but bits and pieces for every specific customer that we work with.
Yeah.
So I'd recommend this book.
You gotta love when something really resonates and you're able to try it in real time and on a real project and it works. Yeah. And then the other thing I wanted to ask you too was just about your customer feedback. Like I know that they've told you that you're positive, but what are some other things that are coming back to you that you can integrate and do better with? And then how does all that make you feel?
I might have said I'm very receptive to feedback, but when there is constructive criticism, it's hard to hear. So I'm working on that. I get feedback from my business partners because we are absolutely different people. I have marketing background; they have technological experience, so that's a different mindset.
Right.
And with customers, with Canadian customers, you need to really ask because Canadians were very polite and very vulnerable. And you need to read between the lines sometimes how happy the customer is. But usually in the end of the project, or even, as we go, again, I would go and ask stakeholders I'm working with, how they feel, they feel we are progressing enough, what specifically they like, what would they like to improve. And honestly, jotting down those points, those questions, and then if there is a cluster in the feedback, I would go back and work on that.
Right.
Work on like project management skills or time management or giving feedback, asking for feedback, stuff like that. So it's hard, but if you document that, you again can identify what improvements to focus on.
Yeah, it sounds like you're a real big questioner. Just question.
Oh yeah, yeah. And some people, there can be a clash in people who don't like to ask questions, who feel like they need to come prepared and know all the answers.
Right.
So it's harder for me to communicate, definitely. But I see more and more openness in the market with people, maybe because of COVID. Just saying, I don't know, I need help.
Right. Yeah. Well, and questioning and positivity is a good combination.
I hope so.
At least it doesn't sound like a drill down or a dressing down when you're asking questions. You're really just trying to get to the answers. Yeah. So tell us, Kira, what's next for you and how people can reach out and find you?
The best way to find me is probably on LinkedIn, Kira Tchernikovsky. I think I'm the only one with that name, so you'll easily find me.
Probably a good bet.
Yeah, connect, follow, suggest content, ask questions. And what's next for us? It's exploring Canadian market, different industries, going into the US, and we already are working with the companies in Europe. And I think this global reach, beyond Canadian border, is just amazing. Different mentalities, different types of people and customers. I love that richness of jobs and experiences that we have.
The richness. Yeah, you hit it with the nail on the head for sure. So global domination, global outreach. Sounds like a good goal. And the technology's there and you have the technology team to do it.
Absolutely. And you need to be positive again and humane via Zoom as well.
Sure. Yeah. All right, Kira. Well, thanks. Your website was customerization.com and you left us with a great positive message today. Thanks for your time.
Thank you so much.